today's video is actually, it was not the video that I had originally intended on putting up today. I had originally intended on putting up today the video that I'm going to put up on Friday, but long story short, my husband and I went to Disney this past weekend, and we had a fantastic time. We went to Animal Kingdom, where the new Avatar, Pandora, the Avatar world is. Oh my gosh, if you get a chance to go, you have to go. I will not ruin it for you, but the Flight of Passage, I think it's called, is the best ride, hands down. Like, if you get a chance to do it, you have to go. It is amazing. I won't ruin it, but you have to go. So having said that, though, we did eat a lot of very tasty food, and we actually went to Epcot and attempted to eat our way through the world. We only got about halfway through and had to stop in Japan because we were so full. We just could not eat anymore, but it was delicious. So needless to say, you know, when you have a little bit more than you normally do, and we were walking around Disney, but I didn't run for those few days that we were there because we were, you know, at Disney early and then we stayed late. I just kind of feel like my face is a little bit pudgier, a little bit thicker than it normally does. So that's what gave me the inspiration for today's video. Today's video is going to be on some of the tips that I use to make my face appear thinner than it actually is. I go over a couple of the brushes that you could use to contour your face. I go over what color of contour you're going to want to use. I go over why it's important to contour and highlight using lights and shadows to maybe appear that things recede or to appear that things are prominent, like your cheekbones, but for me personally, I like to make this recede. So having said that, though, this video is not going to be one of those videos where you see the person before they put on their makeup and then you see them after they've done their contouring and they look completely different. That is not me. That's not my style. That's not the way that I am. So I go through some of the steps that I do. Hopefully this will be a video that is helpful for you. So with no further ado, I will stop rambling and we will get into the video. So if you are interested in seeing my tips for contouring, then just keep watching. Okay, so I have on the top part of my eyes, my brows, and my foundation. I didn't do the bottom part of my eyes because I like to put my concealer underneath my eyes, one to conceal the dark circles as well as to highlight, which I'm going to talk about in just a minute. So I do still have to finish the rest of my eyes, but I kind of wanted to pause and show you guys this particular part where I contour so that you can see exactly what I do, since this is the whole point of this video. So the thing with contouring and highlighting that you have to keep in mind is that it is not just about making these like marks on your face and putting concealer here and here and here and here. The whole point with contouring and highlighting is playing with lights and shadows. So when you want to do something like slim the way that your face looks, or slim your nose, or narrow your forehead, or whatever it is that you are trying to accomplish with contouring, the way that you can do that, creating a shadow where there is none. So when you are contouring your face, you want to make sure that the brightest part of your entire face is going to be here, right in the center of your face. Like if the light were naturally hitting you right here, this should be bright and this should be shaded away. The way you shade this away is going to determine whether your cheekbones look sharper, or your jawline looks sharper, or your nose looks smaller, or whatever it is that you, like I said, you are wanting to accomplish. So I don't have my concealer on yet because, like I said, I do that all together. And what I generally do is I just use the concealer like this. This is the Fit Me concealer in 15 Fair. So I'm gonna just dot this under here like that. I usually do some kind of a fan shape up here because when I go in to contour my forehead, I'm going to be contouring this area here, so I want this area to be very bright and light. Then if you want to contour your nose, I don't usually contour my nose, but I'm going to for the purpose of this video. So I'm going to draw a very fine line here because I want to create shadow on either sides of my nose. Your Cupid's bow is completely up to you. I'm going to show you how to contour your lips so that it makes your lips look fuller. You can actually just do it with lights and shadows. So you're going to want this to look fuller, so it looks like the light has hit it right here. And then we're going to shade it underneath here. And then just to balance everything out, I will usually just throw a few swipes on my chin. Now, to conceal the rest of my eyes, I'm going to be going back in with the Maybelline Fit Me in 10 Light. And this is going to be what I'm using to conceal my eyes. So now that I feel like the dark circles underneath my eyes are fairly concealed, I'm going to go back in with 15 Fair, and I'm going to use this to highlight my face. So because what I'm going to try to achieve with this look is I want my cheekbones to look very defined and very high. So it wanted to seem like if somebody were shining a light right here, that my cheekbones were so high and so pronounced that they would catch a lot of light and then there would be a lot of shadow underneath. I need to create that visually with this. And what I generally will do is just take it on top of my cheekbones like that. I'm not taking it all the way up to my eye because I've already concealed my eye. So I want to go like that, and I want to take it on top of my cheekbone. So you can see if you're looking at me right now, you'll see where it looks like there's going to be, if there were actually a light, where it would be shining is going to be right here in the center of my face. Okay, so now that my concealer is all on, I'm going to go ahead and set the concealer, keep the lines on my forehead from setting. This has no extra color to it, no extra brightness to it. Okay, so now that that's all set, let's move on to contouring. So highlighting is all about adding light where there's light, but if you don't add a contour to it, you don't really see it. It doesn't show up. So you can do all this with a concealer or all this with a cream highlighter to make bright points in your face, but if you create no shadow, then there's no point to it. I'm going to be using the Anastasia contour kit today. Now, if you are fair in skin tone, to contour, you're going to want to use something that is a little bit more on the cool tone brown, meaning it doesn't look as bronzy, it looks a little bit more ashy. And the reason for that being is because you want it to look like a shadow, you don't want it to look like a tan, because you can go in with bronzer and add color to your skin to warm up your skin. So I'm going to be using this middle one right here, and if you look at the palette, you'll notice that this color is a little bit warmer and this color is just a little bit too dark for me, so I'm going to be using this one in the middle. So I like to do my contour with a brush like this. This is the Nars Ita Brush. It is a little bit of an expensive brush. I got this brush probably 3 years ago. It's held up great, by the way, so if you're in the market for a good contour brush and you want to spend the money, this is awesome. But you don't have to spend that kind of money to get a good contour brush. You can actually use multiple different types of brushes. I have a couple here to show you. This one right here is the Luxie 512. This brush would be excellent for contouring too. You want a brush that has a little bit of a smaller head so that you have control over where the contour goes, as well as something that's going to fit into a hollow of your cheekbone, or so where you can keep the color confined to a certain area and then you can go in and blend it out. Another option that you could get at the drugstore would be this e.l.f. brush right here. This one has no name on it, but you'll see how it's kind of similar in shape. It's small, except for this one comes to a bit of a point. These are also very good for contouring because these fit very nicely right underneath that cheekbone. It is a little bit more difficult to get a sharp line with your jaw on this one, but it can be done. If you take your time and really carve out that jaw, you'll be able to blend the rest down your neck. So this is also an option to use to contour. You don't have to have an expensive brush to do it. And I'm going to start at my forehead. So I just barely contour the outsides of my forehead, just so, like I said, the brightest part of my face is going to be right in the middle. So you just basically start out at the hairline and just go in with a little bit of product. Kind of keep it high towards your hairline, and then you just start shading down a little bit once the product is off your brush so that you can blend that out. And next I'm going to go in and I'm going to contour out my cheekbones. So I will pull back these hairs right here. Sorry if my hair looks crazy, but I wanted you guys to be able to see everything that I'm doing. So I will go in and pull these hairs back right here. And what you want to do is you want to start just underneath the actual cheekbone. So my cheekbone is right here, and I'm going to be starting just underneath. And a lot of times if you look at your face, you'll notice that the top of your ear kind of lines with where your cheekbone should be. You want to create an angular line going from the top of your ear to the corner of your mouth. And what that's going to do is give the illusion of a very high cheekbone, a very defined cheekbone, and a narrower looking face. And so once you start blending out that line, you never want to blend too far down because then it can start to look a little dirty or a little muddy. And what you want to do then is you want to take the excess and you kind of want to go up, starting to work that powder almost onto your cheekbone. I know that sounds pretty crazy, but you kind of want to work it up almost onto the cheekbone as you work down the face. So I will go in short, quick strokes. If you need to suck your face in, you can. Now I don't go all the way down to my mouth. So you'll see I'm just kind of moving back and forth, kind of coming down gradually and moving it up onto my cheekbone. Now I will go in and do my nose. I like to use my Nars Ita Brush for my nose because I just kind of go down alongside the bridge of my nose. To contour your nose, if you feel like you want to make your nose look narrower, what you want to do is you want to shade down the side of your nose. You can use a very small brush like this right here. This one is the e.l.f. contouring brush. You just can take it right alongside the nose and just draw the line where you want there to be a shadow. So if the light were shining right here, where would you want the shadow to be? I just kind of go right along the side of my nose. Whoa, holy cow, the bottom just dropped out. It's totally storming here. So you can see, I don't know if you can see that or not if I get close, that there is a very small line now down the side of my nose, and I'm going to go in and do it along this side. If you wanted to shade like away the tip of your nose or make the tip of your nose look smaller, it's definitely better to come from underneath the nose and then just kind of come and shade the nostrils where you want them to be. So for example, if you would like the tip of your nose to look smaller, shade in here in the nostril, because it'll give you less of a appearance that the nose has volume there. It will make that part of the nose look small, if that makes any sense. I'm sorry if I'm not explaining this very well. So I am definitely going to go in and be doing a lot of contouring underneath here, and I will show you how I do that with this brush right here. But again, a brush like this with a flatter top would be better to do this if you didn't want to use a brush like this. And what I do is I basically follow the line where I want my jaw to be. So I come from behind my ear right here, and I kind of just trace this out, and then I don't like all this volume right here, so I will connect the line that I drew to the sharpest point of my chin. Like that. And start to blend that line out a little bit. And what you're accomplishing by doing this is you are making it seem like this area is completely shaded because your jawline is very sharp and there's nothing extra underneath here. You're making it seem like all of this is receded and being pushed back because you're creating a shadow there. And kind of come around this side of my jaw, and then I will come to this side and do the same thing. Come from behind my ear, and trace a line where I would like it to seem like my jaw is. Another step that I will do if I want my contour to look very sharp, I will go on with a powder like this. This is just my CoverGirl translucent powder. Then I'll use a brush like this. You can find one like this at Target. e.l.f. makes almost exact replica of this brush, but this one's the Morphe M459. And I will dip it in the powder pretty heavily. Then I will just go in and stamp out the line just underneath where I want my contour to look sharp. You can do this if you were contouring your face and the contour got a little bit low, a little bit too low, and it kind of started to look a little bit dirty or a little bit muddy. You can do this and it will correct the problem, because let me just tell you, I have done that a time or two. Just gonna sit here and look like a joker for a second. You can also do this technique under the eyes if you'd like to. I've already set my powder down, but basically it's the exact same concept. You would take, like a damp sponge or something like this, and you just create a lot of excess powder here, and then just let it sit. If you have very dry under eyes, probably will want to skip this step, but I'm just showing this to you so that you can see like all the different things that you can do to make your face look as contoured and as chiseled as possible. I don't go crazy with my contour, but I don't want to completely change the shape of my face. I like to look like me, so while I do like to keep it polished and a little bit more sharp, I don't want to change the way that I look. That's just me personally. You do whatever makes you the most comfortable. Now that this has been sitting here, I'm just going to go and wipe this away. So I'm going to go in and add my blush, and what I will do is I will kind of mix my blush and the top of my contour together so that there are no harsh lines. Today I'm going to be using the Too Faced Loved Flush Blush in Baby Love. And just add this under your cheekbones and swipe upwards, kind of meeting the top of that contour. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to do a sparkly highlight because I like shimmery highlights. But if you don't want a shimmery highlight, you can just use a lighter powder to go in and highlight the face. This one here is a very light powder. It doesn't have any sheen or shimmer to it. If you don't like the way that that looks, I know that it's a little bit difficult for people who have fine lines and wrinkles to use a highlight on top of the cheekbone. I personally myself have an issue with it. Like when I smile, it kind of defines the wrinkles in my eyes, but I love the way that a shimmery highlight looks, so I don't care. I just do it anyway. And whatever highlight type you want to do, just remember that highlighting this area here, either with a powder that has a shimmer or doesn't have a shimmer, will just give it like that extra little boost. Today I'm going to be using the Makeup Revolution Shimmer Brick and Radiant. And to do the tops of the cheekbones, you're really going to want to use a brush to where that gives you the most control. For example, this brush right here, this is the Morphe M501 Sigma Tapered Highlighting Brush. That way you can get the tops of the cheekbones very precisely without applying too much product too far down onto the face. So I'm just going to go in and swipe these two colors right here, this white one and this pink one, and mix them together. And when you apply highlight, you want to apply it to the tops of the cheekbones, where if there were a light shining on your face, where that would hit you. I like to do the top of my nose because I think it adds a little something extra, especially if you contoured the sides of your nose. And I like to dab a little bit in between my eyebrows. Because my skin is so dry, I like the extra radiance. And the top of my cupid's bow. What you can do to make your lips look a little bit fuller or a little bit poutier is you can actually take a contour brush and create a little bit of a shadow underneath here. That'll give the illusion of a poutier lip. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to finish the rest of my face and I will be right back. So I have finished the rest of my makeup. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully there was something in there that will help you if you want to start contouring your face or want to start playing around with lights and shadows when it comes to doing your makeup, but just aren't too sure about how to start or what kind of brush to use or what kind of color to use or where to begin. Hopefully this video gave you some tips and tricks that you might be able to use when it comes to doing this on your own face. That is going to complete this video for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Click subscribe to see more videos from me. Don't forget SPF is your best friend, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!